Hey there guys, this is my reflection after talking to a sorcerer about which flow state spirit to channel in order for me to become the best flow state coach in the world. Let's get it today.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. So last night I spoke with Frank White, a sorcerer, voodoo priest, a magician. He is the best at what he does, really, and he pointed me in the right direction, the direction that I needed to. He gave me some ideas for path working and really understanding that, okay, I have to have some form of a relaxation meditation practice, as well as doing some Tai Chi or yoga, because the body and the mind are linked, right? If you have a body that's extremely tense, you're going to have a mind that's extremely tense, and you're not going to be able to be that conduit to channel different beings to you or all this kind of stuff, right? And I know this video is, again, quite esoteric, but this is a really, really important idea and a notion, and I think we can learn a lot from this. So he pointed me to two beings in specific. One was Ganesha, who's the obstacle remover, which I thought was very interesting because, flow state is all about getting over the resistance, right? It's dealing with that resistance, path of least resistance, you could say. So that's very interesting. And the second thing that he said is the god of doorways, Janus, or Janus, if you want to say that with a J. But Janus is a very, very powerful Roman god, okay? He's in the Roman pantheon, and he asked me, do I have any preference for a specific pantheon, which I thought was interesting. I didn't have any specific preference in that sense. But Janus, if you guys know, on my podcast, I had on Dennis. Dennis, basically, he also pointed out this symbolism of Janus being representative of the flow state, right? Because of this fact. And to have Frank White confirm that, and not only confirm that, but confirm already the wisdom that I had in my mind already, basically gave me a permission slip to believe in a lot of the different things that have been going on in my mind, because he was saying that, hey, these spirits are thought forms, and it got me to really understand not only how to go forward, but just, it gave me more clarity. It gave me more clarity, and clarity was what I was looking for in this regard. So who is Janus? Okay, let's explore this, and why is he related to the flow state? So Janus is the god of gods. So why Janus? Because I got the keys. I got the keys. Janus is the god of merit, which means that flow state is something that is earned. You go through the levels, you go through the seminars, you go through the books, you go through a process of inner work. And now flow state becomes a lifestyle. It's much more sustainable. And this is what I'm looking for. This is the missing piece to my flow state puzzle. So thank you, Frank White. He is the god of doors, heaven's gates, any gate for that matter. So the way that I see it is okay, he represents that midpoint from the metaphysical to the physical. He's that bridge that interweaves heaven and earth together. Janus represents the beginning and end of conflict, so war and peace, as well as different transitional periods or even journeys, okay? So he not only represents doorways, and he holds a key in his hand. That key is it comes from the word janitor as well, who holds keys, right? So in this sense, it's also January, the beginning of the month. So really start to understand the power of words here, right, guys? He controls duality, controls time, because he's the two-headed god, right? So he has one head which is looking at the past, and one head that's looking towards the future. So this is the way I saw it, why he represents flow state, because he is a time manipulator, right? And in the flow state, you can distort time, you can slow it down, you can speed it up. And the way I see it is, if Janus is focusing on the past and the future, I can fully focus on the present, right? And he can help me to predict or piece together things from my past and my future to actually give me that clarity. He also gives me the root of the tree that branches off into all of these other beings that I can work with, right, in a sense. Janus is also very interested in the offerings of wine and incense and, all these different things that are very sacred, right, or associated with ritual or ceremony. He also loves the offering of honey. And as I mentioned in my course, Verbal Vinyasa, when you speak, you want to be dripping like honey. As we know that in the flow state, we have to have certain flow state rituals that we have, or be able to celebrate to stay in that high vibration, right? Frank also recommended that I get a Reiki attunement to be able to actually maintain this frequency. It's basically a frequency, right? Spirits are frequencies. So to maintain at that frequency, the flow state frequency, you could say, I'm going to have to stay in a very high vibration. I'm going to have to clean my internal world. I'm going to have to open and close my own passageways, right? Internally, because he's the god of passageways or archways or doors or transitions, or, going from one state to another state. Hey, that's the flow state, right? The flow state is that midpoint, and Janus is that midpoint. We know Janus was a very busy god. He kept evil out of a lot of places, right? And so it's powerful to be able to start to get more of an understanding of, like, what is he there to help me do? What is he really there to help me do? I believe that to be a master of the flow state, you're going to have to tap into this Janus frequency. It's interesting how there's no equivalent of Janus in the Greek mythologies, because usually there is, right? But this is a specifically Roman god that they could be proud of. And what's super interesting? He's the son of Apollo, guys. Apollo is the kind of the foundation of order, right? So flow state is born from order. Think about this, right? Flow state is born from that discipline. You keep doing something over and over again, and you repeat it, and you get to that mastery state of where it becomes second nature to you, becomes natural to you. You don't need to try so hard at it anymore, because you've got it. After Janus allowed certain gods to come in, and he also mentions that, hey, that's the time of celebration. Like, there was a lot of happiness and abundance that came in to the people of Rome at that time. And it's very important for me to clarify that, because flow state is almost a gateway towards happiness. See what I'm saying? So it's important to establish these different connections in the symbology. And if you guys want, you can definitely listen to Dennis's interpretation of this. I think it's highly recommended. I'll actually link it underneath the video right here, so you guys can check it out for sure. Janus or Janus is the god who introduced the Romans to using coins, as well as to travel using boats, right? Again, this water imagery. He also apparently he spewed volcanic water on somebody. I think it was Romulus or something like this. But yeah, that water theme is definitely the one that I'm trying to correlate, flow and Janus to. What's interesting is that because he used this boiling water technique to help the Romans, basically his temples had been built, right? And they would always keep the doors closed, which signified peace. And when the doors were open, that would be a time of war. He's the god of change, man. You know how people always obsessed with New Year's resolutions and wanting to be different and things. That is a Janus energy, man. That is a wanting to change and wanting to move forward, do something new, rebirth, right? Completely transform ourselves, going from one state to another state, one character to another character. I believe he's incredible to guide you towards the flow state, because he can just point you in the right direction, right? And he has eyes on the back of his head, so he can see who's coming as well. So in this sense, he's like, hey, yeah, you go this way, you turn left, then you go here, right? He's like the guy who's giving you directions. He's basically the doorkeeper of the heavens, you know what I mean? Like, that sounds like flow state to me, in a sense, because flow state is this mystical state, right? It is a very, very spiritual state of being. And if he can open that gate of flow state for you, you can access it. And this is the way that I'm starting to see that Janus is the perfect representation of this. And also having a key in his left hand, to open these different gates. I mean, hey, if you're stuck or blocked on something, or you feel stagnant, and open that door for you. Oh, you need some help? I got the key right here. I've got the skeleton key. I've got the key that just opens all doors. My door is closed here. I can't really push through. I gotta get into the flow, baby. Unlock. Tap into the key of the doorway to open the door, and pull it back so you can enter into a different portal, into a different dimension, into a passageway, into a gateway, into a new way of being, into a new time, from childhood to adulthood, or when you're transitioning from one city to another city, right? When you're traveling, when you're journeying, even journeying internally or astrally, something like this, right? And that's how I see that energy and that frequency, which is a really powerful one to tap into. The cool thing about Janus is he also represents this kind of yin-yang quality, right? It's like he has the future and the past all at once, and he is this time traveler in a sense. He can hop dimensions. He can go wherever he wants to. He's not chained, or he's not locked up, because he has the key. Wherever he goes, he can move through it. He can fight the right direction. One door closes, another one he can open, another one he can open. It's like, I almost see him as like similar to Ganesh in the sense of he's the obstacle remover or the door remover, right? He's like, hey, this door is locked. Well, I have the key to open it. Don't worry about that. But yeah, man, I'm sure a lot of us are wanting to, shut the door on this year and just move into the next one, because it's been rough, man. But it's also been very exciting, and a lot of growth has happened. So I believe with Janus's energy, we will be able to move forward with peace, with prosperity, with happiness, with ceremony, with celebration, and most importantly, just having that wisdom of the internal world and being able to tap into the flow state at our command. And that's why I've chosen to work with Janus. I'll keep you guys updated on what happens with that. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you, and stay legendary. Let's get it.